Welcome. I want to give an example about how AI thinks and where you should be careful about the responses of AI, um, just so you can make the best use of it. In this case, I have an application which has been generated by AI. So the whole application I'm using, I did not write anything of it. AI was writing it. And this application uses upstream APIs to generate images and audio. I have a quota of 50 images which I can generate every day. And in that case, I was running the generation of the images. It was working successfully. The queue is bigger than the 50 images, so the rest failed. Everything makes complete sense. However, when I was looking at this output, I was thinking, after the 50th image, everything is fine. The 51st, we're getting an error message back. Why do I see so many skipped lines? Because we already know that it will not work. So the logic is wrong. We continue iterating in the loop, even if we have a different exit condition of the loop. So I was talking to the AI, I was pasting the output, and I was asking the question, why is it iterating over every single item after it has been established that the queue is already exhausted, that the quota is already exhausted? What stupid design is this? I was angry and I was voice typing. This is why it looks so weird. I did not plan to make a video. So the AI was answering, you're right. Once image 01 is known exhausted, it should skip all remaining image 01 jobs silently. And here, like, my alarm bells were ringing. So we're talking about skipping silently, which translates to the logic is still wrong, but the output looks like the logic is better. Of course, I don't like that. So this is the first response of the AI. And this is the main reason I'm making this video, because AI is very, very often wants to make everything look good, but look good, not that the logic is good. It makes AI is very happy to do more work having a bad logic and many, many fixes after the bad logic so that the logic looks still good, and not having a very good logic and then therefore no need for fixes after the fact. Because it would add some checks here. Oh, we already failed. Yeah, we're suppressing the output, but we're still having the API call, which could get me rate limited and everything. So I didn't like that, of course. I was angry. I care about how the source code is, explain the source code. Now the AI is getting what I want, because it says the loop still iterates every single remaining item, even after the model is known exhausted. Each iteration does. The quota refresher API call, then other lookups, but now the AI is going into the direction I want it to. And it also correctly identifies for 35 skipped jobs. That's 35 unnecessary iterations and potentially 35 unnecessary API calls. And as I said, if you have a different application, if your loops are really important and they are doing a lot of expensive work, you can have unnecessary slowdown in your application. And AI would happily do it, because I've seen this behavior with many different models. I don't want to do model shaming. In that case, it's GLM 5.1. It could be Opus 4.6. It could be Sonnet. It could be Codex. I've seen it with many different models. And you should, when looking at the results of AI and the applications, you should be always aware of these kind of behavior. And if you see something which is weird or you do not like immediately, you should always try to question the AI. You can always ask, explain the source code, explain why you're doing this. What is the meaning of this? How is this helping us? Those questions also help the AI, not only you. Because I was angry, I was continuing here. Also, the subsequent jobs should not be skipped silently. The loop should be terminated there. It's a completely different logic because it is. The other thing is what AI wants to do, it wants to keep the loop at all costs and then just make the output look like we are not iterating so often. And I want to force the AI to actually change the logic, because the sooner in the call graph, the sooner in the logic of the application we have important changes, the subsequent parts of the application, they get simpler, they get easier. So I was saying it's a completely different logic. Do not suppress something, make proper source code, make the logic properly. Yes, also my grammar is not good, but it helped the AI to go into the correct direction. It was reading it back to me, trying to appease me. It always sees the full picture, of course, but now it uses a mutable list iterator. So when the exhaustion is detected, all remaining jobs for that model, we could have different models, so we cannot skip the queue immediately, are removed from the list immediately. This is what I wanted. It changes the source code, it does its thing, it prints the result. And this is what I wanted to show. Read carefully what the AI is doing, question everything, ask it to explain itself, be aware if it wants to skip things silently and really wants to stick to a certain logic, even if the logic is wrong. Thank you for watching.